the Bitcoin halving. That's coming up. Now, it has moved. It is still April 19th, but it is now 2:36 in the afternoon. I really hope that goes to a little bit later because I won't be able to be home at 2:36 in the afternoon on that day in order to do any kind of live stream or anything. I haven't planned it yet. I might just release something at that moment. We'll see, but I was really wanting to be on for the halving, but if it's going to be 2:36 in the afternoon, I don't think I can make that happen. But it's just 3 days, a little under 3 days and 1 hour away for the Bitcoin halving. That is amazing. Can't wait to see it come. The other thing that's going on with this halving is that crypto miners are racing for the epic sat. What is the epic sat? It's the epic Satoshi. It's the very first Satoshi mined on the new halving, like the new cycle. And the Bitcoin miners, they want it. There is speculation that this thing could be worth as much as, was it $50 million for the one Satoshi that is the first Satoshi to be mined this halving? And that is something that is a new thing. This wasn't a thing before because before we didn't have ordinals. You couldn't inscribe data on Satoshis. They figured out how to do that just last year. So this is a brand new thing and miners want that epic sat. So that's something to keep track of. If one of our favorite miners mines this thing and gets it, that's a huge payday. I think that would be a huge news day as well. We might see a nice big uptick on that particular stock. So I'm keeping an eye on who gets that epic sat. I'll be watching 2:36 on April 19th. I might just have to take my lunch break at that time instead of my usual. But that epic stat, that's the other thing. Also, right now, whale alert on Twitter. If you're not or X, if you're not following them, you should be. And now we know the spot Bitcoin ETF in Hong Kong has gone live. And if you come here to the whale alert, you'll see Huobi. You see Huobi. That is a Chinese-based crypto exchange. And you'll be seeing a lot of USDT and USDC getting sent to Huobi right now. And like basically every other one is. And it's in tens of millions, hundreds of millions of these things. They need to buy the underlying asset and then put it into the spot ETF over there. It's a different way of doing it, but you'll be seeing some Bitcoin getting bought up a lot of now because of those new ETFs. Now let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart for the day. We are currently in a Beltner, I keep saying that all the time. Bollinger Band, Keltner channel squeeze right now. We are seeing wicks on the bottom here showing that we do want to go up. We're near the bottom of the RSI. We got a bottom flash on the VIX fix just the other day. So once this descending sort of channel that we're in right now, once that breaks to the upside, and honestly, it really needs to get up and above the 5-day moving average, which currently is sitting at 64,841. We need to get above that and hold above that for 2 or 3 days before we get a chance to start moving up. And I don't think that's going to happen until maybe late the week after next. Sometime at the last week of April, we might see that move up on Bitcoin because April usually is a good month for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens there. I do think we'll probably hold above the $60,000 mark unless we continue to get bad news about tensions, global geopolitical tensions. If that continues, then of course I think we'll see a sell-off. But if that starts to cool off or nothing happens with that, we'll continue sideways and maybe with a slight upward leaning on that right now. So let's take a look at the monthly. Let's see how's the month coming out for April. Usually April is a green month, but right now we're looking pretty bad. We're at negative 11%. Almost, if we go a little bit further, we're going to engulf the month before. So that's not great. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we do get a slight up move on Bitcoin here in the near future to get us just, maybe just slightly green for April. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. But right now, we are looking like we kind of want to move up. We are encountering some issues getting up there. We will run into resistance, at 64,000, then again at 67,000, and once more at 69,000 before we even have a shot at the all-time highs. Now below us, we have the 200-day moving average looming all the way down to $46,000. I don't think we'll get that low. I think if like the worst case scenario, we get a flash crash, something horrible happens, some terrible news, some black swan event, we might see it come down to this $52,000 level, but I don't think it would stay there very long, even if it did. Bitfarms is having a rough time right now. It is at $1.71 right now. We are beneath the 200-day moving average on this thing. We have been for the last 3 days. That is not good. Not good at all. But one thing you can see here, and I've been pointing it out over and over again, and I'll continue to point it out every single day that it's happening, is we are in some very tight price action. This is very controlled selling. As soon as this very controlled selling is done, as soon as this is done and it breaks out of this channel, we are going to come right back up to $2, right? That's going to be our first move. We're going to come right back up to $2. It's going to be fast. And then we're going to kind of piddle around a bit between $2 and like 225, 230. Then we're going to come back up to the top of that resistance around 237, 240. Once we break that, then we're going to go back up into the $3-4 mark on Bitfarms as soon as we're able to get past that. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I cannot tell you, but I can tell you that this is very, very controlled selling. This is somebody's doing this. Somebody's doing this on purpose. This is a very, very tight range, very controlled bit of buying and selling here, just kind of keeping it right inside of this channel, really, really tight. And when it breaks, that seller, once that seller is exhausted, once they're done, we're going to be able to fly on Bitfarms, excuse me, once that happens. And once we do that, yeah, we're going to come flying through some of these SMAs here real fast. And you can see we are doing a Keltner channel Bollinger Band squeeze right now, and we have been doing that since March 27th. Last time we had a nice long one was back here, if you remember, all the way back here. This kind of went on from July 2023 until November 2023, honestly. We had it and just, boo, we took off. I mean, there was another one back here. I mean, we were going flat for most of that, but there were times where we were going down, and then when it broke and we went up. But once this thing is done, we're going to see some pretty big upside on Bitfarms, I believe. Of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It's just what I see when I look at the chart and what I think when I see these types of very controlled, tight patterns like that. Bit Digital had a crappy day, had a sucky day. We went all the way down to 176. We are beneath this support level right now. We are under it. That is bad. We're in a bad place right now. We are kind of in this no man's land between the support down at 165, 155 area and the resistance now above at 196. We broke it. We broke the megaphone. We are having a bad time. The only thing I like about this is that there's a bit of a hammer candle down here. It is red, but it is a hammer candle down here on the daily, which sometimes represents a reversal. Now we had that right here as well on April 11th, and it turned out that we ended up just going even further down. But there were other times, like right here on March 19th, where we got the same hammer candle, and afterwards we just got this absolute zoom upwards on Bit Digital. What's going to happen? I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, of course. I don't know. This is getting pretty brutal right now, actually, on Bit Digital. I have been buying more. Like I said, not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. This is not financial advice. I did buy a little bit more Bit Digital today. I do see brighter things in its future, especially once we start getting that AI business cranking out that 100 million in revenue a year, and we start to see what they are going to produce in terms of Bitcoin after the halving, and that Ethereum, once that starts appreciating, because the Ethereum ETF was approved in Hong Kong as alongside the Bitcoin ETF. So there is now an Ethereum ETF out there. So I do think that they will benefit from those when that time comes. But for now, I think the pain is here to stay for a little bit. Like, I don't know if that's going to be a reversal. I'm not convinced. It could be, and that would be amazing. I would love to see this thing come right back up to 250. That would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But I am open to the idea that it's going to come down to 166, maybe 155 first before it does that. Let's take a look at CleanSpark. CleanSpark also got not a terrible candle today. It's not quite a hammer candle. It's more like a doji. We came as low as 1372 today. We almost hit my line at 1354. We got close. Wouldn't that be just poetic if it came down so close to my line, which also was the bottom of my descending channel here, by the way. Came so close to it, didn't touch it, and then just reversed super hard on it. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I don't know if that's going to happen. We're still kind of deciding here. We're still in this tight range of consolidation downward on CleanSpark. We need to break this channel. We need to successfully break this downward channel before we can make a move back to up to the midline of this larger descending channel around $17 and we need to conquer that. You know, we need to do a bull flag and then pull up before we can conquer that area and get back up to around the $20 range. So CleanSpark also not looking fantastic. It is looking like it could potentially come back and test this 1354. If it fails there, we're coming all the way down to around 11.30 to maybe even $10.50 on CleanSpark. Otherwise, unless we break out of this downward channel, that is what's going to happen. The last thing that we're going to look at right now is RIOT. Actually, I'll look at one more after this. RIOT did a big gap down. Big gap down. We were down almost 6% today. We went down under $8 for a little bit today. That sucks. My calls on RIOT are absolutely suffering. Good thing they're all the way out until 2026, so I can kind of hold through this pain. But this thing's got to get back up. Like, this is just an absolute waterfall event on RIOT. Like complete loss of confidence in a RIOT by the market here since which day was that? Since March 28th. It's just been an absolute waterfall all the way down. I don't know when this is going to turn around. Maybe after this earnings report comes in on May 8th, we'll see something out of RIOT. But until then, it looks like RIOT wants to have a crash course with $7 and lower. So $7 is the next level of support, and below that 566. So we're going to get somewhere trapped between $6 and $7, to be honest, on RIOT, unless there's a hard turnaround right away, which honestly you don't see too often. So I'm not expecting it. This is now a double top here. It has been for a couple of days. We are likely to come down to this level of support here around $7 or lower. So that's kind of a crappy thing about RIOT. Let's take a look at Cipher warrants real quick, real fast. I want to talk about Cipher warrants. So as you know, I got in at 192, currently at 96 cents. It did go all the way up to 121. Maybe I should have sold it and bought back in, but I didn't. Oh well. Ooh, what can you do? We are sitting around that level. I am looking for it to come down to this 200-day moving average around 83 cents, where I will double down on that position and hope for the return up to about $1.80, so I can make myself a nice $800-900 in a couple of weeks. That would be fantastic if we could do that. But right now this is looking, so this was a bear flag, right? It broke down. We got some big wicks on top. We get a third day down here around closing beneath $1. We get a third day closing beneath $1. I'd be looking for that 83 cents coming in very soon on that. And that might be before the halving when that happens. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.